Hello Internet, welcome to another one of my Let's Play series. As you can see from the title screen here, the game that we're playing through this session is The Guardian Legend. This game came out in 1998 and was produced by a company called Compile. And here we have a brief story summary of the whole plot of the game. Basically, there was an alien world, I believe it's called Naju, that was sent hurtling towards Earth with a bunch of aliens on board. You play as the Guardian of Earth, this sort of robot lady, and you have to go and destroy the incoming planet before it can collide with Earth and wipe out everybody. And as you can see from the title screen here, it was brought to North America by Broderbund Software. Now, a little bit of history with this game. Unlike some of the other games I've done in Let's Play of on the channel so far, I actually never owned this game. This is one of the NES games I didn't have back when I was younger. In fact, I didn't play this game until college. And this is just the demo here, running through some of the mechanics of the game. I'll just go ahead and get started. So, like I was saying, I've never actually owned this game. I played it in college via emulator, and I've gotten fairly far, but actually I've never beaten this game before. In fact, this is a game I don't know much about in general. So, like I mentioned on one of the other Let's Plays, this is one I'm going in fairly cold. I have played it before, but it's been a while. But I've never beaten it, so I'm definitely not an expert. So sort of be like a learning experience both for me and for anyone else who's never played this as you're watching me go through it here. This game has got a combination of gameplay elements. It's fairly unique for the times, but it's also pretty decently challenging. As you can see here, one of the main gameplay components is this top-down scrolling shooter type setup, and this portion of the game can get pretty difficult at times. This is the intro tutorial stage. You're sort of, as the Guardian, who you saw from the beginning, she can turn into this sort of plane, and you're flying at the planet to make contact, and everything is already shooting at you. And the sound you hear, that siren, indicates a boss is coming up. And so this is the first official boss of the tutorial section. I believe it's called Defense System or something. I was looking up the names of the bosses before I started playing this, so I know some of them, their names. I'll try and mention them as we go here. So basically, in this mode, you move with the D-pad, and you have a shot button, and there's a secondary weapon button, but I don't have any secondary weapons yet. So right now I'm just trying to avoid all the incoming projectiles while destroying all the different parts of the boss. And for the interface, you can see my life is the blue bar, chips, which I'll accumulate as I sort of kill things and get those square item boxes. Chips are used as a currency to buy things, and I believe some of the weapons can use them as a consumable resource. The SC in the upper left is actually score, but I believe it functions almost like experience points. So I'll get stronger over time. I think my shot goes up, my overall life goes up. So right here we have a message as we finally get inside the planet. If someone is reading this, I must have failed. This star, Naju, was our home, but we were invaded by evil life forms. Everyone except me was killed. I'm going to try to activate the self-destruct device. If I fail, I would like you to do this task so this cannot happen to any other race. The self-destruct mechanism is protected by a safety device which is located in the underground corridors. Remove each seal and go deep inside Naju. If you destroy all 10 safety devices, the self-destruct sequence will be activated. I don't have much time. I hope this message will not be read by anyone. It will mean that I have failed. Okay, so as we can see here, the Guardian is in her humanoid form, and I've got a basic shot, and the navigation is very much like Zelda, top-down, and these pyramid-looking things are destroyable blocks, and the holes are essentially warp points. If I hit select, this shows me a map of the entire area, and it's also an inventory screen, which will come into play once I actually get some other items. Now, if I remember correctly, it points you towards your immediate goal, so I think I'm going to make my way over to where that red flashing square is, and we'll just sort of proceed. This game is not super linear. You can do a lot of the areas in different orders, and you can get different items that allow you to progress. So, because I'm not an expert at this game, we will just sort of proceed and see where the adventure takes us. So right away, we're dropped into the sort of labyrinth-like areas on planet Naju. And I have to say, this game has pretty good music. A lot of it reminds me of some of the other more famous soundtracks, kind of similar to Blaster Master or other games like that. But right away, as we're going from screen to screen, the enemies start spawning in, and each sort of room and tile set has its own set of enemies, and sometimes it sort of changes. So again, I'm going to be referring to the map a lot, because again, I don't have the layout of this game memorized at all. So we'll just keep going, fighting these blue blob enemies. Kind of reminds me of the bots from Zelda. Now these are sort of smaller, faster walker type enemies. And as you can see, when I get hit, there isn't a whole lot of invincibility frames, so it's really easy for things to sort of mob you and do a ton of damage. That was a Red Lander power-up. I know it does something to your score, but it also refilled my life, which is nice. It could be that it's just a point boost, just sort of like a level up. But we're gonna keep moving, and I'm gonna be pulling up the map a lot as we go here, so bear with me. We'll see what's in here. Okay, so this is Corridor 1. And the corridor stages are where the game will switch from the top-down overhead to the scrolling shooter types. And I've got, what did it say? There's a whole bunch of them. I think like 12 total corridors. This one has a moon key. I can't remember if this is the one that you can just shoot and it'll open. Yep. Some of them are, you have to do a certain thing or get a certain item. That moon means a moon key is required to progress. But if we jump in here, the Guardian shifts back to her plane ship mode, and now we go into scrolling shooter. And it looks like I did level up, because now I have a two-prong shot, and then that was another level. My life increased a bit. So this is very typical of top-down scrolling shooters, shoot-'em-ups. I do like that Guardian Legend has a lot of variations to its gameplay. You kind of switch from that Zelda-esque exploration to these shooter-type environments, and they're fairly challenging too. I don't remember exactly all of the enemy patterns or the bosses, but I do remember these spots being kind of tricky, especially when you're just starting out and you don't have any additional weapons to use. The top-down sections also remind me of another scrolling shooter type game called Dragon Spirit I played on the NES. I do plan on doing a Let's Play of that game at some point. It's one of my favorites. A lot of the graphics and tile sets in this sort of remind me of some of the zones in that game. So we're going to keep going here, blasting in all manner of marine life. That thing's going to cause problems. Takes a lot of damage though. go. And one thing that's kind of scattered out throughout the different top-down areas of the secondary weapons I mentioned earlier, I know you can buy some from shops using chips. You can trade in your currency, and some you just find in the environments. And I unfortunately didn't find any before he went in here, so I'm stuck using the base gun. But I should be okay. This is the first quarter, so it won't be too bad. Some of the secondary weapons are kind of neat. They all do different things. They either have different shot types, or they have offensive or defensive functions to allow you to take on the bosses easier. But we're gonna go with the base gun for this. And then hopefully get some upgrades after this level. And Guardian Legend, like a lot of old school NES games, does sort of play the old card of reusing enemy sprites, but recoloring them to signify them being stronger. That'll definitely be coming into play, and we'll see some of the alien life form types being recycled. I think we're coming up on the boss. Okay. So this guy, I believe this guy's name is Flipa. He's basically a big fish that just moves up and down, top to bottom, spitting baby squids at you. Overall, not too bad. You basically shoot him head on. I think you aim for his mouth or his eye. And one thing I have to say about this game that I do remember from playing it back in the day, the enemy sprites in this game are awesome, especially the bosses. They all have pretty unique designs, and they're very detailed. What I'll probably be doing for this Let's Play series, like I did for Blaster Master, is drawing some emblems of the bosses in the different incarnations, because they're pretty cool looking. That'll be a good thing to pair with the thumbnails. So this is basically all he does. I just have to make sure not to get cornered by him as he moves from top to bottom. Oh, and there he goes. Not too bad. Okay, so Flipa gave me the moon key. So like we noticed before, that's gonna enable me to progress through any door that has the moon key symbol. And that item, let's see, these things have names? This is one of the secondary weapons. So if I hit, is it A? Yep, it does this sort of orbiting projectile that goes all the way around me. And I think, let's see, we'll go through here. This must be the second major area. Yeah.